Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? Hope you are all doing well. Welcome to Reganelite's Watch Along, episode 86. Excuse me, I felt a burp coming on, probably because I drank water. Episode 86 of this series where we watch and react to certain clips online. We have quite a bit to look at. We're going to be looking at spending a lot on Davos. We got a little bit on Nigel Farage as well, and I think maybe one or two extra ones in America, but possibly one or two other bits, to be fair. But most of it is pretty much it's around Davos. That's pretty much what the context of this live stream is going to be tonight, guys. Is really on Davos. And yes, I am going to subjugate you guys to some of Donald Trump's speech as well. So I'm giving you the warning ahead of time of that. Sorry, but we're going to have to cover it here. I will say that I did watch Mark Carney's speech. I thought it was brilliant from Mark Carney. I thought his speech was lovely. I didn't see... I only saw bits of Emmanuel Macron's. I have one clip of it I will share with you guys. I was doing very important work while listening to Donald Trump's speech. I have to say, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I felt my intelligence has reduced significantly reduced since I watched that speech. But after listening to smart people once again, I felt I regained my intelligence once again, guys. So I want you guys to know that. So while I did lose a lot of intelligence listening to that blathering of Donald Trump, it did come back to me once I stopped listening to him, guys. So it will be the same for you guys here. We will listen to certain clips and that, but I want you to know that you may lose some intelligence, but it will come back once you stop listening to him, guys. I'm not joking. I'm being absolutely serious here. Let's see who we got in the chats tonight. Nice and quiet on the Twitch TV chat. But if you are on Twitch, feel free to say hello. Be greatly appreciated on there. Make sure you follow, hitting the bell notification icon and all that great stuff there. Be greatly appreciated. For those here on YouTube, who have we got? Scott Hayes, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. User, good to see you there as well. Jal, one of our moderators as well. Guys, do check out Jal's YouTube channel. Link is, I think the link's in the description. Make sure I don't lose my mind. I normally have had them all. No, I don't have it linked in the description. But do check out Jal's YouTube channel. If you type in his name, it will come up there as well. Mel, good to see you there. Fellow Ducky, hope you are doing well. And I think that's everyone who has said hello so far. Right, guys. The first clip I've got for you guys is one that I haven't really covered. It was a day or two ago, I believe it was. This one here, and it is 4 minutes long. But I think we need to hear this. But I do want to add some caveat that while I agree with everything that this man says, I also want to remind people of what kind of person he is here. I don't think you should give Trump headspace, say about, but not play it. I'm not playing the whole thing. I've got clips of Donald Trump's speech. I want to make that clear. I'm not playing every single thing everything, but I've got some important parts that I think is worth debunking. So I will. Let me put it that way. We're not watching the whole thing, guys. I'm not subjugating you guys to that. That would just be terrible. Like, it would just turn people off. Like, honestly, like, I'm not going to do that for you. It's good to see you there, Kevin. Hope you are doing well. Doc Davis, I listened to some of it but couldn't take it anymore and turned it off. Again, I totally understand that, Doc Davis. Totally understand that. Wee Bud, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well as well. So I want to start with this here from Gavin Newsom. And tells the European nations to basically grow a bloody spine. And you know what, guys? He's right. So let's see what he has to say here.
Wake up. Where the hell has everybody been? Stop with this diplomacy of sort of niceties, and somehow we're all going to figure it out. Stop saying one thing privately and another publicly. Have some spine. Have some goddamn balls. Excuse my language.
Governor Newsom, do you have a message for Europeans who are concerned about the messages from the White House around Greenland this week?
Yeah, it's time to buck up. It's time to get serious and stop being complicit. It's time to stand tall and firm, have a backbone. You know, it's I've seen this in the United States, the supine Congress playing both sides, you know, saying one thing on a text or a tweet and another publicly. It's time to have principle. It's time to stand tall and strong.
Does that mean
This is... I'm glad someone said this, but what infuriates me is that everyone has been telling them to do this, but everyone has just been, all these European leaders have been so cowardless to actually stand up and say something to Trump because they're so frightened of the repercussions from it. And it's just like people will be more respectful of you if you actually stand up to your values and principles rather than groveling like a bloody dog to this guy. People will respect you more if you actually stood up for yourself. And they weren't, and a lot of European leaders were not doing that. Keir Starmer is no different than some of these other European leaders. Let's be clear about that. The groveling has been absolutely diabolical.
what does that look
Time
like?
to stand united. You make that determination. I don't make that determination.
When you say standing
Collectively.
what do you mean?
Just, I can't take this complicity. People rolling over. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. I mean, handing out crowns and I mean, this is pathetic. Nobel Prizes that are being given away.
Let's be fair. Okay, first of all, like FIFA are the ones who gave out a giant trophy to him, and the Nobel Peace Prize has nothing to do with Europe. That's the Mexican opposition leader who is desperate to get into power. And yeah, that was definitely one where I think we could all agree was pretty bloody embarrassing here.
I mean, it's just pathetic. And I hope people understand how pathetic they look on the world stage. I mean, at least from an American perspective, it's embarrassing.
So what should Europe do?
You should decide, the Europeans should decide for themselves what to do. But one thing they can't do is what they've been doing, and they've been played. This guy's playing folks for fools. Diplomacy with Donald Trump, he's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you. One or the other.
And Europe's
People
being devoured?
need to stand, but no, the Europeans could be if they continue down this path and process. They need to stand tall, stand firm, stand united. Look, a year ago we should have been having this conversation, and they didn't. Okay, and now you're paying the price. Exactly what anyone objective observer would have anticipated we'd be where we are today.
They need to grow a backbone. They do need to grow a backbone. 234. You're absolutely right. They need to grow a backbone. Like, where has this been? And he's right. Europe. The moment Trump was elected, everyone should have been standing up and taking note and doing absolutely everything they can to protect themselves and shield themselves from this man. Instead of looking at how can we appease this man without him, harming us. Because one way or another, you're going to get harmed by him. So, and sometimes the economic damage can sometimes the economic damage is worth the pride. Because it shows you as a strong political leader rather than somebody who is just trying to keep him happy so that he doesn't hurt you and hurt your country, hurt your nation, hurt your people, because you're so terrified of the repercussions that you should, people will have a difference of opinion of you and whatnot, And by the way, Gavin Newsom is just because Gavin Newsom is saying all this doesn't make him any. I want to make this clear. Just because he's saying all this stuff doesn't mean he's a good Democrat, that he could potentially be a good president. And I will get to that at the end of this.
Do you think if Europe doesn't respond, that could lead to the end of the European Union?
Well, I don't want to be hyperbolic about it, but this guy's a wrecking ball. I hope people are waking up to what we're dealing with. It's code red. I mean, you guys are still playing by all set of rules. Everybody, the globe is, with this guy. He's unmoored. It's the law of the jungle. It's the rule of dawn.
And he's absolutely right. And that he doesn't give a shit about the global order. He doesn't care about international order, rules and boundaries and whatnot. He's willing to push all of them. He's willing to break all of them. And he don't care who gets upset. When you are the leader of one of the most powerful nations in the world, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And the thing is, no one is going to stand up to America. No one is going to put America in their box. Now, we've spoken on this channel and other YouTubers and whatnot, and people have said that there are ways to harm America, harm this administration, to really put the screws in. There are lots of ways that you can damage America from an outside perspective. There are ways to do so. There are economic ways that you can seriously harm America. We're all aware of that. But no one has kind of gone and said, if you do this, we'll do this to you. Like Trump threatening of tariffs, what they should be making serious threats back. You know, the one world leader who has shown more spine at Davos more than anyone has been Mark Carney. Mark Carney has never backed down from Donald Trump. You know, all that time where Trump was talking about acquiring Canada, you know, and Mark Carney just kept pushing him back every single time. Like, just telling him, like, being straight with him, like, this ain't happening. Like, unless you're invading us, this ain't happening. You ain't buying the country. Like, fuck off, basically, essentially. And what's happened since then? He's never peeped a thing about buying Canada, because he knows, that the only way him to get Canada is to invade it.
And I hope it's dawning on the world what we're up against. I mean, this is serious. This guy he's not mad. He's very intentional, but he's unmoored and he's unhinged, and it requires you.
It's more about intimidation rather than actually. I think it's more intimidation, Kevin. If I'm honest, yeah. The tariffs are designed to be used as intimidation, and part of Mark Carney's speech there is it being used as a political football to weaponize other countries into agreeing to certain schemes to go certain direction. I would say it's being used as a weaponization, the tariffs. But the thing is, we still don't even know. We don't even know if the tariffs are still going to be able to be done. I believe there's still a Supreme Court hearing on the issue as well, on that.
The goal is whatever he wants it to be. The goal is the world in his image. He's a narcissist. I mean, it's no advice. Common sense. Why don't folks do what they say publicly, what they're saying in private? Why don't they just simply do what they know is right? I mean, everybody's talking behind his back. They're laughing at him. Meanwhile, they're sucking up to him. It's embarrassing. This is not diplomacy. This is stupidity.
If they don't act, does this end with military solution in Greenland?
I don't know. I mean, it just... who knows what happens in that respect? But with Donald Trump, you saw what happened to Maduro. You're seeing what's happening on American streets. You saw what happened in the state of California, where he put 700 active duty Marines. He didn't send them overseas. Last year, he sent them to the American city, second largest city in the United States of America. He's got 1,500 active folks, members of the military, on call near Minneapolis. This guy has put a police state. You got a guy dressed up in SS uniforms.
You know what? And this is the thing. Like, a lot of I noticed how much of the mainstream media in the mainstream media outside the US were covering the atrocities that ICE were causing. Never mind what's happening now in Minneapolis, but like they were trying to do in Chicago, that were trying to do in Los Angeles. How much of coverage were they giving that?
Greg Bovino, dangerous. You seen this guy, Greg Bovino? See what's happening with ICE and secret police and masked men, people disappearing? Wake up. Where the hell has everybody been? Stop with this diplomacy of sort of niceties, and somehow we're all going to figure it out. Stop saying one thing privately and another publicly. Have some spine. Have some goddamn balls. Excuse my language.
You know, as much as I agree with a lot of what he is saying, and I really want people to understand this, yeah. I really want people to know that this guy, for all he's buster of talk, yeah, and he is, some people do respect him as a state governor. I want to make it clear, he is a bitch. Or more specifically, he's Israel's bitch. And nothing emphasizes that more of his podcast that he has. And he has a lot of right-wingers on his podcast. And one of the interviews that he had on there was someone you guys may be familiar with, a guy called Ben Shapiro. Now, I tortured myself by watching actually that podcast. And I saw just how weak and spineless Gavin Newsom really, really is. So for all, and I really want people to understand this, that even though he right here, you're listening to him and he's like, and probably some of you are thinking, oh, this guy could actually, this like sounds like the kind of Democrat I could get behind. I wouldn't mind him being president. You do not want this man being your president. You do not want this man to be your president. This man is an Israeli bitch, is what he is. Couldn't be more obvious. He has no spine whatsoever. He is just, he's one of those APAC guys. Okay, just because he's saying all the things that needs to be said to European leaders doesn't make this guy, oh, he could definitely be a Democrat I could get behind. No, do not, guys, do not fall for this guy. Do not fall for this guy in any way, shape, or form. I just want to make that really, really clear to you guys on the context of this. As for on the context of him personally, but as for what he says, this is absolutely right. Like that. And I actually think that, excuse me, the speech by, I don't know how many of you guys watch Prime Minister's Questions with me, but when I was watching PMQs, I definitely felt there was a little bit more stronger tone, a bit more stronger from Keir Starmer with regards to what's happening. He didn't criticize Trump still because he's so paranoid about breaking the relationship with him. Oh, excuse me. But I did feel like that he has pushed himself a bit more to kind of push back against Trump and Greenland a lot more, saying that we're not just going to simply bend over to Donald Trump and his threats of tariffs, is what he was literally saying here. But it doesn't go far enough there. There's a lot of things that Shapiro says that I don't like a lot of things. Really, I'm not a fan of Ben Shapiro in any way, shape, or form. I was watching the interview through Vosh's YouTube channel because he covered the whole thing. And I was listening to it, and it was driving me crazy. Like, and this is supposedly supposed to be the guy that can fix America, So, yeah, I just want people to understand that. Like, if you want to kind of dive into this guy a little bit, you can check out his podcast because he does do a podcast as well. If you really want to go out of your way, but don't think of this man as the game-changing guy. He's going to make things all better here. So earlier today, he got asked questions again about he got asked questions, and obviously there were some speeches after that here. So I wanted to share kind of his response to some of the speeches that he had here.
Disappointed, it was a little nonplussed.
Did it stand out to you that he said Iceland multiple times when he was talking about Greenland?
And that every time a windmill turns, it costs $1,000. A lot of stuff stands out. None of this is normalized. There's a normalization of deviancy and consciousness and, comments and commentary. No other president, he's held to the curve. He's graded on a curve. I mean, it's really some jaw-dropping and remarkable statements that just, fly in the face of facts and evidence and common sense. So, but you've heard them over and over and over again. For the European audience, that may have been a new speech. My God, there wasn't anything new about that speech for the American audience. The only thing that was new is he said he's willing to negotiate, but wait a sec, that's not new either, because EU's been saying we've wanted to negotiate for over a year.
I think he's saying that European audiences aren't aware of this. I think there are some European audiences that do hear snippets. If you're paying attention to the political spectrum, if you are paying attention on the social media aspect, I absolutely like him to claim that European audiences don't listen to Donald Trump. I can absolutely assure you, if you are somebody in the political spectrum, you have heard what this guy's been saying. If you don't pay any attention to politics at all, that's obviously a different story. But I don't agree with the assessment that European audiences aren't aware of these kind of speeches. Like, no. I don't agree with that assessment there because it's been said many times, what happens in America ripples the rest, affects the rest of the world. So to state that there, and obviously yes, apparently every time a windmill turns, guys, it costs $1,000 in America. Yeah, we're gonna get to Trump's speech. I know you guys are so looking forward to that. Oh dear. He was asked a bit more on more as well.
Over a year.
You criticized world leaders when you got here, saying that some of these European leaders have capitulated to the president.
In the past.
You said you should have brought knee pads. What have you heard from them since then?
A lot. I heard a surprising number say glad you made those comments. The exact opposite of what you might expect. They needed to hear those comments and to know that people in America have that point of view and perspective. And so I was very...
Do you want to name names?
Absolutely, but I'm not. But I would love to. And I thought yesterday's comments by Prime Minister Carney were effective, and Macron's comments, and obviously the EU President's comments were effective, and they helped shape, but the markets more so, what Trump said today and how Trump said it. It's not even, all of this is so simple, so basic, it's not complex. And yeah, so, markets are back. Gold is still running higher. So there's some medium and long-term uncertainty.
Yeah, well, he's talking about the markets there, but he said there was a bit more. But again, like, you can distinct from yourselves whether you guys are think this guy is a moon man, says Pete Music. Yeah, I've already, like, good to see you there, Pete, Andy, Stephen Banker, Steve McMorran, good to see you there. 234, if I didn't say hello to you, Person Impersonator, Billy Kershaw as well, the London Cheesehead, good to see you there. I think I've said hello to everyone if I have as well, but yeah. I was talking to Linnea Lodge at the weekend who toured the States. She said it's bad. Folks in motels having lost their houses, property, etc. said Kevin. It's just the cost. The cost is just too much. Like, people need help. Like, yeah, you've got you're hearing the story. You're hearing the stories themselves from people right there. Just how bad it is. It's really depressing when I think about it. Thank you for sharing that. The value of the gold doesn't move, or moves as the value of the currency relative. So gold rising means the dollar is failing, says Andy. The dollar is definitely being challenged. So that is for sure. The dollar is definitely being challenged here. So this was yesterday from President Emmanuel Macron here. I didn't listen. I've only listened to a few clips of Macron's speech. I haven't listened to it in full. But I do like this line that he has here of, we do prefer respect to bullies, we do prefer science to politicians, and we do prefer the rule of law to brutality. I'm going to just say this now. I don't know why he wore the shades. A part of me is just like, okay, he's trying to look cool and trying to be a bit different. I just think it's a bit like, I don't know what you're trying to do with the shades here, if I'm honest. I'm just saying this. But let's just hear a little piece of Macron here.
But we do prefer respect to bullies. We do prefer science to plotism. And we do prefer rule of law to brutality. We have a place where rule of law and predictability is still the rule of the game. And my guess is that it is largely underpriced by the market. Having a place like Europe, which sometimes is too slow, for sure, and needs to be reformed, for sure, but which is predictable, loyal, and where you know that the rule of the game is just the rule of law, it's a good place. And here in the epicenter of this continent, we do believe that we need more growth, we need more stability in this world. But we do prefer respect to bullies, we do prefer science to plotism, and we do prefer rule of law to brutality. You're welcome in Europe, and you are more than welcome to France.
I thought that was nice. I think that's very nice to say, like, look, things. He's absolutely right in saying that, sometimes getting things done in Europe takes a longer process because of the way the system runs. But it is a democracy. The European Union is a democracy. That is the one thing it is that, yes, sometimes it does take time for things to work. But one thing it works on the necessaries of cooperation, of cooperation, of a community, of a togetherness. Nothing is more democratic than the European Union on this planet. Nothing is more democratic than that, because there is so much debate and so much conversation there. And like he says, is it not not perfect? No, of course it's not. And you are never going to get a perfect democracy. You are never going to get the perfect system. There is no such thing as perfection in politics. You will never have the perfect politicians. You will never have always the perfect policies. You will never always have everything you want. But you want to try and get as much as you want with what you can get. And I think that's kind of what resonates when I was listening to parts of Macron's speech there. Zhao says it showed it to French news. It's something that happened. Blood weasel burst in his eye. Oh, okay. So something happened to his eye. Apparently, he had a puffy eye. Could be convergent. Oh, something happened to his eye. Okay, I wasn't aware of this. Macron has blood in his eye. Oh, okay. That makes totally makes more sense then. Okay. Well, if you're gonna wear cool shade to cover the blood eye, that's totally fine then. Okay, I was not aware of that, chat. Thank you for clarifying that to me. His wife punched him, apparently, says 234. Did he really? Did she really? I don't know about that. I'm not going to get into the details of that, okay? I got the AI to analyze American politics. It's edging towards, quote-unquote, failed state. Failed state, indeed. Good to see you there, Witchygoff, as well. Americans still have not understood their world is gone. I think I think if you were to ask most common sense Americans, Zhao, I think I would disagree. I would say a lot of Americans would say that what the system they've had before has changed. And there's a lot of them with their heads up their own arse, especially MAGA supporters. But I think a lot of them are inclined to agree that it's not the same as it used to be. And that they're going into... they've been in uncharted territories for over a year now with this Trump administration. And they have no idea what's coming next for them. Because every day is a scramble every day for what's happening there. Especially in Minneapolis right now. Minnesota right now. I think there are some who do see that change. If I'm honest, I think it's a mixed bag. So we covered them. Just to show you guys here as well, like it wasn't all nice and peaceful here. Obviously, of course, plenty of fans out in support, showing their love to President Trump in the best way possible. Kind of agree with that last one there. Big ego, small brain. Thousands of protesters showed up to protest against Donald Trump near the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. People all around the world really hate Donald Trump. I hope they realize most Americans hate them too. Well, Ed, I'd love to believe you, mate, but that, you guys voted him in. There are good Americans. I'm not saying there isn't, but and too many of them have not turned face and realized the mistakes that they have made as well. So, I never voted for Boris Johnson in 2019. I can say that. I accept that. I own up and accept that I did vote for Brexit, not fully understanding it because I didn't have the knowledge of politics that I had back then. I accept that responsibility. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I own up to that. But I hope a lot of Americans really do. I really hope a lot of Americans have changed their thoughts on that there. This is a brilliant clip that the Washington Post here showed some of the breakdown of some of the bits from Mark Kanye's speech. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend listening to his speech in full. I think it's about 24 minutes long. Something like 20 minutes long. I do recommend people listening to it because I think it's very powerful. I think it's a really, really good speech here. But this here I think is really fascinating. So Mark Carney delivers a stark warning to the world's middle powers, describing a rapidly developing world order in which powerful nations abandon diplomatic traditions in pursuit of their own interests. So what was an international norm was obviously trade and cooperation and working together for better societies and whatnot. It's all become more about me, rather than thinking about the global stability as a whole. And Mark Carney's hit the nail on the head here.
Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Over the past 2 decades, a series of crises in finance, health, energy, and geopolitics have laid bare the risks of extreme global integration. But more recently, great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited. Argue the middle powers must act together because if we're not at the table, we're on the menu. In a world of great power rivalry, the countries in between have a choice: compete with each other for favor or to combine to create a third path with impact. The powerful have their power, but we have something too. The capacity to stop pretending, to name reality, to build our strength at home, and to act together. That is Canada's path. We choose it openly and confidently, and it is a path wide open to any country willing to take it with us. Thank you very much.
He actually got the loudest applause at Davos from what I heard as well. And, you know, he was recently in China and they struck a deal with China, which is obviously very good. I think Canada has got themselves a very good prime. You know, in hindsight, you know, looking back on it more, you know, I think Mark Carney being their prime minister is probably one of the best things that's happened to them in one of the worst possible times in our lives right now. They've got a stable leader. Is he perfect? No, but I think Mark Carney is gonna steer Canada through what is going to be some torrential times in the world. And it's a very difficult one for them, considering that their neighbors across the pond are absolutely unhinged right now. I think Canada has some real great opportunities. Here. But obviously I'm looking at it from an international perspective. I obviously don't know on the national, in terms of national policies, how far he can take them through. But obviously he is a former Bank of England, so he understands numbers and economics very, very well. So I do think, yeah, in terms of him as a leader, I think he's really enhanced his position a lot more by how he has conducted himself with Donald Trump. I think he's handled that so well in comparison to a lot of other world leaders. In actual fact, I'll go one step further. I think he's handled it more than any other world leader. He's handled Donald Trump better than any other world leader. I don't think I'm struggling to think what other world leader has handled Trump better. Obviously, Vladimir Putin's a bit of a different story. But if you want to talk about Western leaders and how they've handled themselves with him, I think the Mexican president has done pretty decently as well, from my understanding, from what I've heard as well. But I think Mark Carney, above all, has been the best there. The American army requires an economy to pay for it, money gone, weapon rust, and soldiers do what they need to survive. For Trump to fall, Republican senators need to stand up to him. That's not happening yet. Yeah, that's the key, is how far Republican Party willing to go with Trump. How far are they willing to destroy their own country, their own people? Everything, anything, and how far are they willing to rip up every single piece of the Constitution, everything that they value in their so-called great country? How far are they willing to go for Donald Trump? Like, they are being pushed every day by Donald Trump. Every day they're being pushed. And they know it's going to get to a point where they're going to have to choose between America and Trump. That's going to be the choice for every single Republican out there. They have to choose whether they stand by their country or they stand by Donald Trump. And they know by standing by Trump, they are not going to have the same country they have anymore. The more it goes that way. Will the U.S. military rebel against Trump's orders? I think the question is whether the orders are illegal or not, Andy, if I'm honest. I think it comes down to legalities. And I think, we'll get to Trump's speech in a moment because he did rule out, Donald Trump did rule out using military against Greenland. And I think one of the reasons was because allegedly, I don't know this for certain, all right? But one of the things I have heard is that I think I've spoken about this on the past with you guys as well, is that the U.S. military do not want to do illegal orders, do want to do any orders that are considered legal. And I think considering the significance of what would happen if the US was to invade Greenland, the repercussions of it, both at home, domestically, and internationally abroad, the repercussions would be huge. I think in the end, Donald Trump is just he's gonna keep banging on about Greenland, but in the end, he's not gonna get what he wants. He keeps talking about buying Greenland. He ain't gonna get able to buy Greenland. In the end, yeah, he's gonna end up talking about something else, because he will be desperate to keep the conversation about what he says and not what's going on in the so-called, the Epstein files, for example. I wanted to give a bit to China here. I just wanted to share their bit here. I will read the text out because obviously there wasn't a translator there for China for some reason, which is kind of silly for me. Silly here. It starts here that everyone should be equal before the rules.
规则面前，应当人人平等。极少数国家不应
And a very small number of countries should not have the privileges based on strength.
当有基于实力的特权。世界
The world cannot return to the law of the jungle, where the strong prey on the weak here. So it's a message that they do not want. It sounds like here from China's perspective here, the representative here from China's perspective is that they don't want, even though China is a superpower, they are a superpower here. It's interesting that they say this comment of strong preying on the weak sort of thing. But quite literally, isn't that what they're trying to do around the South China Sea right now with the Philippines?
不能重新回弱强势的丛林法则，各国都有权。
Every country has the right to safeguard its legitimate interests. Well, again, I turn back. I know you guys are going to mention Taiwan, of course, but the Philippines is one that I've covered many, many times, where they've had clashes with China. Have had many clashes with the Philippines in the South China Sea because China are claiming that the majority of that sea belongs to them when it actually doesn't. A lot of it belongs to other countries. So, it's a bit hypocritical for China to be saying this, while at the same time, while they bully other nations around their area.
维护自身的正当权益。中国一贯重视以自身发展。
Oh, sugar! I just clicked the wrong button. Sausages. Where was I? There we go. It says China has always attached importance to promoting common prosperity of its trading partners through its own development.
带动贸易伙伴共同繁荣，致力于做大
China
全
is
球
committed
经
to
贸蛋糕。
expanding the global economic
我
and
们
so I'm going too fast. Economic and trade pile.
我们
We
从
will
不
never
刻意追求
deliberately
贸易顺畅，
pursue a trade surplus.
不仅愿意做世界工厂，
We are not only willing to be the world's factory, but also the world's market.
更愿意做世界市场。
And at the rate they're going, they do have a giant slice of the pie when it comes to the world market anyway. That is a reality there. When it comes to that. Whatever happened to the Second Amendment, says Andy. Yep, good question. Person says they also tend to be multi-term senators. I think there should be a term limit for them too. Entrenchment limits to corruption. Yeah, I hate that. I hate the Senate system because once you're appointed, you're there for life. That's it. Like you don't get out, and you only get out unless you choose to stand out. And I hate that system. It's a crap system. It should be a 2-term. It should be a 2 or 3 year system. Maybe it should be like presidents, senators. Should be every 4 years you have to run again. Maybe they should do that every 4 years. A senator has to run again. It should be every 4 years. Like instead of every 2 years, it'd be like presidents. Like that's how long they are in, like something like that. I don't like this permanent powers thing. It's just like it's like in the House of Lords. Like the system is bollocks, you know, because we don't have a say in it at all. Where's the right? So that's the ones on Davos, right? Before I show you some of Donald Trump's speech here, I just want to gear you guys up to just show you just how prepared he was, guys. Just just wanted to get you guys geared up for what you're expecting here. Here's Donald Trump arriving at Davos, seemingly walking. Of course, he would definitely be walking in a straight line because he's definitely perfectly fine, guys. There he is, walking straight as any world leader would do. Oh, no, wait, he's tipping to the side there. Oh, no, he's back in the center there, I think. Yeah, he was tipping a little bit to the side there. Yeah, yeah, yep. Not so sure, guys, not so sure. So we're bringing back battleships, guys. Yeah, so Donald Trump first clip here. He talks about battleships, guys.
Budget of $1.5 trillion. We're bringing back battleships. The battleship is 100 times more powerful than the great battleships you saw in World War II. Those great, big, gorgeous ships.
Yeah, guys, 100 times more powerful battleships. They're going to be bringing back battleships. Battleships so powerful and so strong. And yet, if only he knew, if only he was aware that those kind of ships just don't work in this day and age. And if you want a prime example of that, of battleships, yeah, well, if you only need to take a look in the Black Sea, guys, because in the Black Sea, there's quite a few Russian ships that are at the bottom of the ocean. And you know why? Because Ukraine developed drone technology to take out a lot of Russians' fleets during the conflict that's still taking place there. Battleships are not really the day and age, not really the future. It's more drone technology now.
Missouri, the Iowa, the Alabama. Because I thought maybe we could take them out of mothballs. They said, no, sir, these ships are 100, think of that, 100 times more powerful than those big, magnificent pieces of art.
I don't think that's what they said to him. I generally think that's what's going on in his mind right now.
That you saw so many times ago, that you still see on television, you say, wow, what a force. 100 times, each ship 100 times more powerful.
I will say this, though, guys. I will say this. I have you know, whenever I've toured one or two actual ships, naval ships, and actually been on them, ones like in museums and whatnot, I'm not gonna lie, I am in awe of these ships. But I'm also realistic about, you know, our day and age. There was a time where they were some of the most powerful destructive weapons, but they are not as powerful as they used to be now.
Than the big battleships of the past. So that was the end of the mothball story.
Fascinating story, Donnie. Fascinating story. Donald Trump on Switzerland. And then I guess the Prime Minister called a woman, and she was very repetitive. Doesn't even know the name. Just a woman. Okay?
They make us because of us, because we never charged them anything. So they come in, they sell their watches, no tariffs, no nothing. They walk away, they make $41 billion on just us.
So he's basically... So just to comprehend any kind of logic, because I know listening to Donald Trump reduces your intelligence. We established this at the start of the live stream, guys. But just to salvage your minds, yeah, from listening to this man. So what he's implying is that Switzerland makes billions and billions of dollars from their watches, and it also rips off the United States of America, guys. Okay, this is incorrect. I just want people to know that. You know, I just want people to know that that is false.
So I said, no, we can't do that. So I'm going to bring it up. I still would have a deficit pretty substantial, but I brought it up to 30.
So yeah, he claiming he went up to the Swiss and he told them, you guys need to stop ripping us off. Okay, that's literally what he's saying here.
30%. And I guess Prime Minister, I don't think President, I think Prime Minister called.
Who?
A woman.
Okay. Does this woman have a name?
And she was very repetitive.
Oh, you don't know the name of the woman? Okay. So, it's not a president or a prime minister, a woman, but you don't know the name. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. This went on, yes, guys, this went on for over an hour, this speech, which is why some of you decided not to listen.
She said, no, you cannot do that, 30%. You cannot do that. We are a small, small country. I said, yeah, but you have a big, big deficit. You may be small, but you have a bigger deficit than big countries.
I just want to argue this point about the deficits that a lot of these countries have. There's a lot of countries are in deficit, not because they want to be in deficit, but because they were forced to by bigger and more powerful nations that subdued them into these situations. I think that's worth pointing out there.
He said, no, please, you cannot do it. Kept saying the same thing over and over. We are a small country. I said, but you're a big country in terms of... And she just rubbed me the wrong way, I'll be honest with you.
And still, I don't know who he is talking about. If someone has a name, please tell me in the comments below, because I don't want to be rude. It's called capitalism, says 234. Yeah, it is capitalism, guys, yeah. The design is not a battleship, says Kevin. The idea of it being 100 times more powerful was laughed at by those in the industry. The railgun idea is very hard to imagine. Yeah, I mean, like, if you've ever played the video game Metal Gear Solid, where there's actually been in the series, I think on one of the franchises of the game, there's like a ship with it has a rail gun, and I think that's I don't think Donald Trump plays video games. I think I'm pretty sure he thinks video games are an abomination on society. I'm pretty sure he thinks that. That's the only idea where I can think of rail guns. But yeah, there's the technology. I don't think the technology for railguns isn't exactly there. It's my understanding of it. But feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the chat on that. America's deficit is not sustainable. America is floating on bonds. Yep. But they can't keep going forever. But they're trying to keep it going. But they're gonna tank at some point. Swiss watches have more thorough process than your effing brain done up to. Yeah, I would say the Swiss watch has more value than Trump's phone. Trump's phone, guys. Where's the Trump phone? They're still waiting for that, guys. They're still waiting for the Trump phone. This is the worst one of them all. Some of you guys may have heard this one already. Trump is now confusing Greenland with Iceland multiple times. Yes, he got Iceland and Greenland confused. But to be fair, we know he gets confused with a lot of countries. He can't even name some countries. This is a sign of an old man who needs to be taken to a care home.
Decades. But the problem with NATO is that we'll be there for them 100%. But I'm not sure that they'd be there for us if we gave them the...
Obviously, he's obviously never heard of 9/11 and what happened on that day, and NATO rallying behind the US again when that happened. But obviously, he doesn't. He has a very short memory. To be fair, there, guys.
The call, gentlemen, we are being attacked. We're under attack by such and such a nation. I know I'm.
Such and such a nation. We're being under attack by such and such a nation. Yeah, okay.
All very well. I'm not sure that they'd be there. I know we'd be there for them. I don't know that they'd be there for us. So,
obviously, again, let me remind people, 9/11, what happened after that. You have Google. You can read it up again.
With all of the money we expend, with all of the blood, sweat, and tears, I don't know that they'd be there for us. They're not there for us on Iceland, that I can tell you.
Iceland? Wait, what? What you got against the supermarket chain? Iceland are a great supermarket. How dare you talk about our supermarket chain, Iceland? Where's he going with Iceland? Oh, maybe he's talking about the country Iceland. Oh, God. Oh God, guys. Andy says, well, a railgun, a 1.5 kilometer, is similar to a sabot round off a tank, good at poking holes against a soft-skinned target, like a DD hole straight through of its can hit. Thank you for sharing that. Is there actually such thing as a railgun? I should actually look that up now. I'm generally curious now. Can't we give him a medal saying President of Greenland? He'll be happy with that. No, you can't. No, that won't be enough. Donny's elevator doesn't reach the top floor. That's true, user. That's true. I've watched the Trump speech too. Please do not subjugate yourself to it, says Joe. No, we do need to debunk some of this, you know, for our own intelligence and well-being, guys. We do need to debunk some of this. So if you have a ship 100 kilometers away, trudging along, jinking at 32 kilowatts, chances of a hit are extremely slim, says Andy as well. Ground control to Baby Don. Yep, no answer. No answer. They are experiments with railguns. Yeah, I'm not. Look, there's a lot. I'm pretty sure that's true. They're probably experimenting on a lot of things that we don't know about as well. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of things the public doesn't know. To be fair.
I mean, our stock market took the first dip yesterday because of Iceland.
Iceland are responsible for the dip in the stock markets, guys. Iceland. Isn't that why Mums goes to Iceland? If you don't get the reference, that's the for those who don't get the reference from outside the UK, we have a supermarket chain called Iceland, and their catchphrase is "That's why Mums go to Iceland." Gotta laugh, guys, because all you gotta do is cry.
So Iceland's already cost us a lot of money.
Oh, Iceland cost them a lot of money, guys. Oh, don't tell the owners of Iceland; they'll be devastated. Oh dear, guys. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Sorry, guys, I've got to laugh. Oh God.
But that dip is peanuts compared to what it's gone up. And we have an unbelievable future in that 3 decades.
Oh dear, oh dear. On special in Iceland. Yeah. Poor Iceland, guys. And I've can I just point out as well, as somebody who actually, I was very lucky and privileged enough to have gone to Iceland, and I really do mean this. Iceland is a lovely country with some wonderful, wonderful people. I was there for a week with my partner and her mum and her partner. We were there for a week. We had a wonderful time at all the places we went to. Pretty much everywhere we went, wherever we went out for a meal, whenever we spoke to people. People in Iceland are generally, I mean this sincerely, are lovely, lovely people. I highly recommend it as a holiday destination. I really, really do. You know, there's great. It's got great scenery, and best time to go is during the summertime, guys. Best time to go to Iceland is during the summer times. Yes, it can be a bit expensive, but it's an absolutely lovely, lovely place. I highly recommend Iceland. Anyways, back in the real world, not. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than Sainsbury's, says Iceland. Yeah, that's true. There's no self-checkout. Iceland does have self-checkout where I am, unfortunately. I have an Iceland down the road from me. Here. There are videos on YouTube on railguns. The damage of the gun itself is a major issue. As far as I know, they don't last long in comparison to conventional guns. Thank you for that. I might actually have a look at that now. I'm definitely I'm having a keen interest on that now. So people have a job in Iceland. Yeah. Trump says Canada should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the US. Remember that, Mark, next time you make your statements. So this is Donald Trump making and I'm just going to call this now an empty threat, because he's not going to invade Canada. He doesn't have the balls to invade Canada. The repercussions of invading Canada would be devastating here. This is just empty. I'm calling this an empty threat from Donald Trump.
To just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your Prime Minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful.
You know, you know what would really hurt America is if Canada just happened to turn off all of its power that it supplies to the United States. I wonder how would the Trump administration would respond if Canada just decided to switch off all its power. You know, a lot of energy is relied. A lot of America's energy supply, especially in the northern states. I wonder what would happen if Canada decided to switch that off. I think there'd be a lot of anger from American public. Oh wait, they're already angry, but they're not angry enough, obviously.
But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that.
Oh, do they? You sure they? I wasn't aware of that. I thought Canada just formed of its own accord. But I'm just gonna let Trump say what he says here, and go.
Mark, the next time you make your statements.
Okay, you make your empty threats. Self-checkouts is insulting unless they charge less for the goods, says Peach Music. Well, unfortunately, I have to use the self-checkout in my local Tesco's because if I do, I'd be spending 10 minutes in the queue waiting to get served in the local Tesco's. So I don't have a choice but to use the self-service checkout. And respectfully, as much as I love the people working in the Tesco's down the road from me, I have to use the self-checkout because the kiosk there's always a queue for it. There's always a queue for it, so I have to use the self-service checkout. I'm just not prepared to wait 10 minutes. Sorry. Nothing against I'm not a fan of self-service checkouts, but I will use them when I don't want to spend 10-15 minutes waiting in the queue. Donald Trump on Gavin Newsom, who we heard earlier.
We can do that all over. We're going to help the people in California. We want to have no crime. I know Gavin was here. I used to get along so great with Gavin when I was president. Gavin's a good guy.
When I was president. He said when I was president. Mr. Trump, you are aware you are the current president of the United States, right?
And we're going to, if he needed it, I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd love to see. We did help them a lot in Los Angeles, a lot with the early in my term when they had some problems. But we would love to do it. I will say this, if I were a Democrat governor or whatever.
There he is.
I would call up Trump. I'd say, come on in, make us look good. Because we're cutting crime down to nothing. And we're taking people out, career criminals who are only going to do bad things, and we're bringing them back to their countries. But where we've done it has been amazing. And we have a capacity to do it at much greater levels.
Yeah, okay, sure. I'm sure you've done great things for California, apart from pissing off the state, with your ICE raids there. Yeah, you've done great things. Ah, dear, oh dear. Don't worry, like I said, I wasn't going to subject you to every single speech. This is the last one, guys. The 2020 election was rigged! People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did.
I hate to break it to you guys, but the election was not rigged. It was never rigged. But they want you to believe that.
It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. Can't have rigged elections.
Oh dear. I need Michael Spicer to do a 4-hour video breaking this down. Oh, if Michael Spicer did that, it would probably kill him. Oh dear, guys. Are we done with Davos? I think we're done with Davos. No, I think I wanted to. I think what you need is a bit of light humor and a bit of a reality check, guys. I think you guys need this more than anything. So let me present to you the Danish MEP that politely told the president exactly what we all think of him.
Let me put this in words you might understand. Mr. President, fuck off.
Hold on, wait. We need to play that again, guys. I need to play that again, just so you guys heard it. Okay, I'm definitely not going crazy here. Okay.
Let me put this in words you might understand. Mr. President, fuck off.
And there you go. We don't need to read the rest here, guys. But I think you guys needed to hear someone tell the president exactly what needed to be said. I like Denmark more now, says Andy. Yes. There you go. Unfortunately, guys, he got a right telling off for saying that in the Parliament, in the European Parliament. Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that, but he did get proper told off. Unfortunately, here, which I'm sorry to say there. Let me just check if there's anything else really particular I want to cover with regards close to that. No. Okay, before I go to a bit on Nigel Farage here, guys, I wanted to share this piece here about the Chagos Islands, and I think this is the only video I'm going to play with regards to the Chagos Islands, and I think this kind of is a big wake-up call to remind us of what happened, why they are in the situation they are in, and why it's so significant here. And I when I watched this video, it kind of like, I knew this already, but it kind of like when you hear it from the people themselves, it's again another reality of just this is what he got a tell off in the Parliament and beer outside and beer outside of it regularly. Oh, he got beer. He got given beer outside of it. What do you mean? He got given stacks of beer for saying that in Parliament. Anyways, a very serious one here, guys.
Did you know the US and the UK conspired to remove an indigenous population from their island and steal it to build a military base? See, in the 1960s, the US was determined to build a base on the island of Diego Garcia due to its strategic location in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's important to note Diego Garcia is part of the Chagos archipelago, which was governed as part of Mauritius, which was under British colonial rule. Remember that, it's crucial to the story. There was one major issue in securing Diego Garcia though. It had been home to the Chagosian people for centuries. Chagosians are mainly of African and Indian ancestry. Enter the secret deal between the US and the UK. The UK owed the US $14 million for submarine missiles. The US agreed that if the UK could get them Diego Garcia, that $14 million debt would go away. There were a few conditions though. First, everything about this deal had to remain top secret. They wanted to avoid protocols that required the UK to report to the UN about its continued colonial rule over a country with a permanent population. Secondly, the US insisted that the islands had to be cleared of Chagosians. The UK assured there would be no indigenous population except seagulls. Putting the plan in motion, the UK forced Mauritius to give Chagos up as a requirement for independence. And then from 1965 to 1973, the UK forcibly removed the entire Chagosian population from the Chagos archipelago, or as they call it, British Indian Ocean Territory. Today, Diego Garcia is home to a massive military base that played a significant role in the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and the so-called global war on terror. But what happened to the Chagosian people? During their removal, Chagosians were herded onto the bottom of cargo ships, not allowed to bring much with them, and then abandoned in Mauritius and the Seychelles. Families were separated and they were forced to live in foul conditions. Chagosians experienced severe hardships and discrimination, and what was promised to them was never delivered, leaving them without the means to rebuild their lives. But this isn't ancient history. Chagosians who endured this displacement are still alive, like Bernadette, who was a little girl when her family was forced off Diego Garcia.
How do I feel? Frustrated. Where is my right? You negotiate with somebody on my behalf without my consent. I never gave my consent to anybody to negotiate on my behalf.
Throughout the years, Chagosians continued to demand their right to permanently return home.
I always remind people, when I talk about what happens in the West Bank, I say to people, imagine your home. Imagine someone coming into your house and taking everything from you. basically threatening to take your home. And when you try to call the authorities were not on your side because you own the land. This is your home. This is your property, sort of thing, right? And I always say to put yourself in the shoes of other people. And I just imagined that scene, because that still happens on a daily basis in the West Bank. Yeah, what happens there? And it's an absolute terrible thing that I continue to cover as much as I can on Rumble as well as here on YouTube. What you have here is an entire population, their entire livelihoods, their history, their culture, everything that is a part of them, their homeland, literally taken away from them, all for the means of having a strategic military base on the island. And the UK are pushing very much as hard as they can to basically lease. I was not aware of this, right? So I was aware that in the Chagos deal that they would have the base for 100 years, right? What I wasn't aware of was there was an extension in the clause that they could have another 40 years on top of it. I was not aware of that. That is quite infuriating. Now, absolutely, these lands should all go back to its people, absolutely by right. But the problem is that both the UK and the US are not willing to give up that base. That's the problem. So what the hell do you do? And these are the ones who have the guns, but both the UK and the US, they have the guns and they own the base. What can you do? Well, you keep screaming to the International Court of Justice to take action. It's like, well, they've already ruled that they can't have the islands. They've already ruled that it belongs to its people. You've got to give it back. The problem is that they can't. I mean, what can they do to kind of speed up the process? Well, I don't know what they can do. And for all the conservatives and politicians back home who talk about, that it's British Islands and all that, they don't know either. They don't know their fucking history, or that they're completely, or they're still in that stupid warped mind of the British Empire. I cannot fathom what it is like for these people, and especially that woman who spoke at the end of the video there, where as a little girl, born on those islands, right? Born on that island, and then she with her family getting kicked off the islands, being refuge ever since then, and pretty much living your life in exile from your homeland. I cannot imagine what that must be like for her and for all the people. And I don't think in their lifetime, I don't know when they're going to get their homeland back. I just don't know when. And it's just an absolute horrible situation for these people. And for all the people talking about compensation, no, we shouldn't be paying compensation. You're too fucking right, we should be paying them compensation. We kicked them out of their islands. This was their home. Absolutely, we should be paying them compensation. Like, I as much as I don't like British taxpayers going to these people, we're the reason that they are where they are in the first place. Third world countries trying to spread ESP parasites. Third world countries trying to spread the disease. Wish they visit North Sentinel Island. The American missionaries have done untold damage in this world. Britain has done untold damage in this world. We must never forget that. We must never forget Britain has done terrible damage as well. The Chagos Islands were a problem years ago. I remember protests in London not covered by the BBC. Yeah, because they don't want the British public to know that they would never air. Do you think the British media, the mainstream media, would ever air footage like that? If they saw that, there'd be a huge amount of anger from the British public. You know, the image that they consider themselves, the British government, Westminster consider themselves standing up for rule of law and democracy and all this kind of thing. And then you play that video in front of them? You play that in front of them? They would not like that one bloody bit. They would not like that one bloody bit. So, I'm just going to share this tweet from the Liberal Democrats. It's not real, it's fake, but I just wanted to share it with you guys because it's so funny. I wanted to share it with you on Nigel Farage from the Liberal Democrats because anytime we get to poke fun at Nigel Farage is funny. So, like this fake tweet here from the Liberal Democrats here. Nigel Farage latest to have his Trump text leaked here. It's allegedly, it says, Daddy Donald, what you're doing with Greenland and the tariffs is so amazing. I really hope you get the chance to do it to our country or what you've done to America. I can't wait to finally scrap our horrid NHS and bring in your beautiful US insurance model. It's going to be huge. So please, I campaigned to help you get into our office. It was so worth it. Thinking of you. Can't wait to catch you in Davos. Very nice tweet from Lib Dems. Lee Anderson did not take it very well. He was with an angry tweet about this because obviously Lee Anderson doesn't know what a joke is there. So a story we kind of covered this morning, touched on this morning, but I want to kind of remind people those who weren't here this morning on this as well. Why is my video clip like that? There we go. So apparently Nigel Farage has been breaking the rules, guys.
The Reform UK leader had been investigated by the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards after a tip-off from a member of the public. The Commissioner, Daniel Greenberg, found that Nigel Farage had made 17 standards breaches for payments totalling over £380,000.
17 payments. For 17 payments. Now, I'm just going to go on a limb here, but don't you think somebody who's broken the breaches 17 times, I don't know about you, but they should resign. And guess where Nigel Farage is, guys? I can give you a big clue. It's not Clacton.
This included 6 payments from GB News, totalling £202,296, and a payment of £91,200 for representing gold bullion company Direct Bullion. In a letter responding to the Commissioner, Farage said the late declarations fall short of what you expect and indeed what I expect from public figures. This was an administrative error on behalf of me and my team, for which I can only reiterate our sincere apologies. Unlike most members, I have a very complicated and complex set of interests, including my work as a TV presenter and as a successful private businessman, most of which were built long before I was elected as a Member of Parliament. Compared to most MPs, I have an unusually high number of interests which need to be declared, and I have always and will always continue to declare these. Let's bring in our political...
Yeah, he will always continue to declare these, guys, despite the fact that he made it breaches 17 times here, guys.
Correspondent Alex Rogers. And Alex, just tell us more about this. Interesting that this all began from a tip-off from a member of the public.
Yes, so Nigel Farage is in a little bit of hot water this morning. He's been investigated by Daniel Greenberg, the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner, who he looks at whether MPs are following the Code of Conduct properly. And yes, as we learn, he failed to declare 17 of his outside interests. And Farage met with Greenberg to give account of his errors. And in that meeting, we're told that Farage said it was actually a member of staff that failed to declare these properly.
Yeah, guys, it wasn't Farage's fault. Farage didn't do anything wrong. It was my staff members that didn't do it, guys. Nothing to do with me. No, guys. I did not break any of the rules. Look, I trusted my members of staff to do it all for me, and they couldn't do it for you, guys. I'm so sorry this happened. It won't happen again. I'll make sure my staff are properly trained on the matter, because obviously I'm incapable of doing any work myself, as you guys know, because I've done so many things for Clacton. I'm a very, very busy man, have a lot of things to say, but, you know, I was just relying on my member of staff. So it's never my fault. It's always someone else's fault, guys.
And he also said to Daniel Greenberg, I don't do computers. The Commissioner...
That's right, I don't even know what a computer is. I don't even know what this is. What is this device with all these buttons on it? I've never done such a thing before. It just doesn't comprehend my mind. You realise how fucking stupid this sounds, right, guys?
Seems to have accepted that response, giving a bit more of a slap on the wrist and no real serious repercussions. But the UK government, they have come out with a statement. They're saying that Nigel Farage is so distracted with tempting failed Tory politicians into his party that he can't even get the basics right. He isn't on the side of working people. He's just lining his pockets when he should be standing up for his constituents. It goes on. He boasts about making money because I'm Nigel Farage, raking in millions through various outside jobs, but he neglects to do the important work that hard-pressed taxpayers fork out for him to do.
Unfortunately, as tough as that is from Labour here, I have to say, you guys can't say fuck all when it comes to tax evasion and whatnot. When you guys were taking freebies right at the start of your administration. So I'm not going to take any lectures. Yes, and yes, we can point to the Conservatives as well as their tax dodging affairs as well. But I'm not even going to take lectures from the fucking Labour Party when they were taking freebies and whatnot as well. So sorry, I'm not taking it from them in any of this here. He's a fucking grifter. He is a grifter, 234. He is. Investigate the fuckwit for treason. Yeah, he should be investigated for treason. Yeah, he should be. This is why politicians here cannot receive donations to have jobs, or participants in companies don't even have the spouse, chicken, brother or parent. Children, brother or parents, grandparents benefits on any kind of public procurement contracts. And this is why we need to ban second jobs for politicians. If you're an MP, you should be banned from having a second job. This is why. We've said this. There's literally a petition out there to do that as well. But guys, you didn't think this was the... I just want to just say to you guys, you didn't think this was the first time Nigel Farage breached payments, right? Oh, no. Oh... Everyone has history, guys. This here, guys, a video from 6 years ago is resurfacing where Nigel Farage was accused during his time as an MEP of failing to declare he's over $500,000 in financial support. It's almost as if, you know, deja vu.
On the 31st of October. But before Mr. Farage can take up his seat at the European Parliament, perhaps only for a couple of months, he'll have to deal with a potentially serious disciplinary matter after being accused of failing to declare financial support of almost £500,000. In a letter to the European Parliament's President, the Advisory Committee for the Conduct of Members says it considers that Mr. Farage committed a serious breach of the Code of Conduct.
Where have I heard this before? A breach of the Code of Conduct, guys. Oh, that's right. I've literally just heard it today.
The seriousness of which merit the highest penalty. It also recommends the President refer the matter to the European Anti-Fraud Office for investigation and liaise and cooperate with the UK's National Crime Agency, the Electoral Commission and Metropolitan Police to establish the full facts.
And that was 6 years ago. Of course he's a tax leader. Be quiet, you. Of course he's a tax dodger. I'm just surprised it's only taken us today for us to find out. Oh, he hasn't been declaring all his interest. Only now, guys. I don't know what can I say, but it's just infuriating. Imagine having a shot in the kinds of cash that they play about with, even for just 1 week. Yup. The law is nowhere near the aggressive enough on these upper class grifty fucks. But if a single mother was accidentally to be paid an extra £40, yeah. 100%, Andy. 100%. When you have money, you can get away with literally anything. But if you're someone on the wrong end, if you're poor, struggling to get by, if you miss a payment or whatnot, they literally cut your hand off. It's fucking bullshit. It is. Sorry for the language, guys, but it absolutely needs to be said. You're absolutely right, Andy. It does infuriate me that these people get away with literal murder. And by the way, do you want to know where Nigel Farage is, guys? Because guess where he was? He wasn't in Clacton. He wasn't at Prime Minister's questions in London, Westminster. No, guys. Of course he was there. He's in Davos.
So I've arrived in Davos, and yes, you can imagine the global elites are here and they're partying hard just behind me. But the cozy consensus that Davos has been shattered. This afternoon, Donald Trump will be speaking. This afternoon, President Milei of Argentina will be speaking. I'm going to be on the stage at the USA House immediately after Trump's speech. And there'll be a lot of people there, a lot of big businesses there from all around the world. And I would say, look, listen, it's very simple. Britain has been absolutely craven to the globalist agenda for decade after decade, which has meant climate change policies, open borders, mass regulation, everything in favour of big business and not small business. And I'm here to put them on notice that whilst we'll work with them, we won't be dominated by them, we will not live by their agenda. It's part of the reason I campaigned in Brussels. And I was about as popular in Brussels as I am here in Davos, let me assure you.
Why you're not in government? You're not in government. What business do you have being in Davos apart from sticking your head, as someone put it, up Donald Trump's arse? You're supposed to be representing your constituents. You should be in the Houses of Parliament asking a question to the Prime Minister that would benefit the people of Clacton. Instead, you're here in Davos, claiming to represent Britain. You're not the Prime Minister. You're not a minister. You're an opposition MP. You shouldn't be there. And here's a snippet of the speech he made. This is the only piece I've heard from him. And I'm not going to put myself through hell of listening to more of him. But if other people do, feel free to do so.
First things first, I'm delighted that Trump and now Scott Bessent have done everything they can to torpedo the terrible deal that would threaten the American base of Diego Garcia. I do want to say that. Diego Garcia is the most important American base in the world outside of the American mainland.
Yeah, it's so important, but who gives a fuck about his people, you know? Because obviously Nigel Farage doesn't care about that.
The British government, moronically, are going to pay to give away what is ours.
Yeah, if only he knew his history.
And there's no doubt there'll be Chinese spies and all the rest of it over that American base. So I'm delighted with that. On Greenland, I have no doubt that the world would be a better, more secure place if a strong America was in Greenland because of the geopolitics of the high north, because of the retreating ice caps, and because of the continued expansionism of Russian icebreakers, of Chinese investment. So yes, would America owning Greenland be better for the world in terms of safety and stronger for NATO? It would.
However, obviously, if Nigel Farage is completely unaware, because he's not as smart as he fucking thinks he is, guys. If he actually had some intellectual brains, he would realise that, oh, there's some US bases on Greenland already. If only he knew that. If only the United States would just, you know, deploy more defences there and put more troops on the island to protect it, you know, from Chinese and Russian threats. If only they could do that to protect it from a strategic and defensive point of view. If only he knew that. It's almost as if he totally forgot to add that in his speech here.
However, if you believe in Brexit, and if you believe in...
Well, no, none of us believe in Brexit, but do tell.
...celebrating America's 250th birthday, if you believe in a nation state and not globalist structures, you believe in sovereignty. And if you believe in sovereignty, you believe in the principle of national self-determination. That's what you guys fought the British for. Your right of national self-determination, and you won. So I agree strategically with the arguments that he makes.
But Sky News didn't want to put you through any more of that, and I'm not going to put you through any more of that guy. Farage is the reason people with kids keep them away from Farage. That weird-ass caterpillar thing. Dear oh dear, guys. Dear oh dear indeed. Right. I think we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. But before we go, I've got one last video for you guys. A funny video to see ourselves out here. Just to remind us, just having a bit of fun before we see ourselves out here. Let me just see what else you guys are saying. I chose no to bring others to an effed up planet, says 234. Brexit shoes and not this BS again, says Kev. Yeah. I know. Whichever way the effing the fucking wind is blowing to stop Davis. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. He's never been in Clacton. Done a Jack. As right as Clactonians. Yeah, indeed, guys, indeed. Anyway, guys, here's some epic trolling of Donald Trump here, guys. We need a bit of laughter here. I know you guys are going to enjoy this. So let's have a bit of laughter to see ourselves out.
Earlier this year, I won the FIFA Peace Prize for the most peace in all of soccer. And just last week, I was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize by the Venezuelan opposition leader. She gave me hers. Because nobody stops more wars than me. I start them and then I stop them. I really do. All I had to do to get it was invade her homeland. She was moved to give it to me. And by moved, I mean I had her put on a military jet and flown to me. I would like to accept this award and so many others, quite frankly. Earlier tonight, I also accepted Mel Gibson's 1996 Oscar for Braveheart. A great movie. They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. Mel can keep his freedom, but I'm taking his Oscar. I really am. And I was also presented Dr. Oz's Daytime Emmy Award for the Dr. Oz show. He said, sir, no one has done more for science than you. From bleach cures COVID to Tylenol gives you autism. I've done so much, it's incredible. So I accept this Daytime Emmy, the best kind of Emmy, they tell me. I wanted a Grammy, but Kid Rock has never won. Can you believe it? The woke left won't give Kid Rock a Grammy. But I was just presented a BET award from Nicki Minaj. BET, Black Entertainment Award, they call it. I am now the 2016 Best Black Female Hip Hop Artist. It's a big one. It really is. A lot of people are saying I was robbed when Megan Thee Stallion won in 2022, but we have fixed it. I'm the first white male black female artist to win. We don't want men in women's sports, but we do want men in women's hip-hop for Rizzle, they tell me they do. And sports, let's not forget the sports, okay? Earlier tonight, I was awarded the 1984 Stanley Cup. Wayne Gretzky gave me his ring, and I even let him kiss it. I really did. He won in 1984, back when hockey was not gay. We're going to make hockey straight again. We really will. So thank you for the Nobel Peace Prize. Excuse me, I have to go invade Greenland now. But first, I've just been crowned Miss Universe 2023. It's incredible, isn't it? Thank you very much.
I know, guys. I know. It's if you don't laugh, all you're gonna do is cry, guys. All we're gonna do is cry. All we're gonna do is cry. Ah, dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I've still got some. I've kept some of the classic ones on. I don't. I should have kept the. I've got it saved somewhere. The guy slipping on the ice all the time as well. You know, the ice agent constantly sleeping is one of my favourites there, guys. One of my favourites. Scott Hayes, thank you so much for the coffee I've just seen on there. Trump is as much use to the world as an ashtray on a motorbike, a danger to world peace. Absolutely indeed. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate that, Scott. It's very kind of you. Thank you. It really does. Anyone buying me a coffee really does help financially support me. So thank you so much, Scott. That's very kind of you. Appreciate it. Guys, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came along tonight. Thank you guys for all your comments. I hope Donald Trump did not reduce your intelligence, and I hope that my responses and your responses in the chat kept your intelligence above average when subjugating yourself to his voice, as well as Nigel Farage's. But apart from that, I hope you found it interesting, informative, and useful. I really this live stream tonight. I just want to remind you guys before you head out. Tomorrow night, myself and One Angry Pagan are going to be doing the first Eco Flake show of 2026. For those who don't know what the live stream is about, we talk about climate change, we talk about eco-friendly, we talk about the environment, we talk about green energy, rising sea levels, all that kind of thing. Environmental topics is what we specifically spend an hour and a half talking about with you guys. We do it once a month, myself and Ryan Pagan. I'm really looking forward to having him back on the show and talking about these things, because it's a subject that doesn't really get covered a lot. I don't really cover it a lot on this channel, to be fair. So doing it once a month with him, and he's far more knowledgeable on it than I am when it comes to it. So if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, do join us tomorrow at 8 o'clock, myself and One Angry Pagan for that. I'll be back again tomorrow and on Friday morning at 11 o'clock for another Good Morning show. So if you could join me for them, it'd be greatly appreciated. But that's it from me. And before I head out, guys, if you can for me on your way, please hit that like button, share this across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Any subscriptions does help support the channel, guys. And don't worry about the demonetization. I'm in the process of appealing, and all I can do is wait at this moment. So once I have an update on that, I will let you guys know as soon as possible. But in the meantime, of course, you can join Patreon and buy me a coffee if you want to financially support me there. You can also check out Rumble and Patreon for free content that is also drops on during the week as well. Free additional content as well. So topics about America and the Middle East are also on them as well, which you can check out, as well as links to the free Discord, as well as all the other stuff there. So thank you again all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.